The trading station floated in the darkness of space like a massive wheel of light. Prime was home to thousands of beings from hundreds of worlds. Ships came and went every hour, bringing goods and people from across the galaxy. Inside the station, the markets never closed. The air smelled like a mixture of strange spices, fuel, and too many different species breathing in one place. The hunter moved through the crowd like smoke. Its four legs carried it silently across the metal floor. Its gray skin shifted colors slightly to match the shadows around it. Two arms hung at its sides, relaxed but ready. Its eyes, three of them arranged in a triangle on its face, scanned everything. Every person, every movement, every exit. The El were born hunters. For thousands of years they had been the apex predators of their world. When they reached the stars, they found new prey. Other species learned to fear them. The El hired themselves out as assassins, bounty hunters, and enforcers. They were the best at what they did. They never failed. This hunter had never failed either. 43 contracts completed, 43 targets eliminated. Its reputation was flawless. Today would be number 44. The target was a diplomat named. He was fat, blue, and covered in jewels that marked his wealth. He had hired the hunter to kill a business rival 2 months ago. The job was done perfectly, but then refused to pay. He thought his money and his guards made him safe. He was wrong. The hunter spotted him at a spice merchant's stall, was laughing, surrounded by 4 bodyguards. The bodyguards were a warrior species that looked like walking rocks. They were strong but slow, not a threat. The hunter's bioscanner worked silently, checking every being within 50 meters. Species identification, threat assessment, probability of interference, everything calculated in seconds. 17 potential witnesses. 12 would run, 4 would try to be heroes. 1 might call station security, all acceptable variables. The hunter's right forearm split open. A blade extended from inside, so thin it was almost invisible. The edge was 1 molecule thick. It could cut through the station's hull if the hunter wanted. It could definitely cut through flesh and bone. The hunter moved closer, 20 meters, 15, 10. Didn't even know death was approaching. 5 meters. The hunter's blade rose slightly, ready for the strike. 1 quick movement, the target's throat opened. The bodyguards would react too slowly. The hunter would be gone in the confusion. Simple, clean, professional. Then the hunter's scanner passed over 2 beings standing at a tech stall. The hunter froze. Every muscle in its body locked. Its predator instincts screamed at it. Danger, threat, apex predator nearby. Its 3 eyes focused on the 2 figures. They looked weak, soft skin. No claws, no natural armor, only 2 eyes. They stood upright on 2 legs like many species did. One was male, the other female. The male was examining some kind of data pad. He had dark hair and several scars on his face and arms. The female was younger, maybe 20 cycles old, with her hair pulled back. She was laughing at something on her own data pad. The hunter's scanner displayed the information. Species human. Status active threat level. Error recalculating. Error threat assessment failure. The hunter's primary brain and secondary brain both processed the same impossible information. Its weapon hand began to shake. Human. The word echoed in the hunter's mind like a death sentence. That was impossible. Humans were extinct. Everyone knew that. The entire species had disappeared 300 years ago. Some said they destroyed themselves in a war. Others said they just vanished into deep space. Either way, there were no humans left. Except these 2 were standing right there. The hunter's blade slowly retracted into its arm. The seam closed, leaving smooth gray skin. Its 4 legs took 1 step backward, then another. Was still laughing at the spice stall. His bodyguard stood around him, bored and unaware. The perfect moment for the kill had passed. The hunter didn't care. It couldn't stop staring at the human male. He looked so ordinary. He wore simple clothing, a brown jacket over a black shirt. His boots were worn from travel, nothing special, nothing dangerous. But the hunter's every instinct was telling it to run, to hide, to get as far away as possible. The female human said something, and the male smiled slightly. They looked at the data pad together. They were completely relaxed. They had no idea that a L assassin had been 5 meters away from them with a blade drawn. They had no idea they had just saved life simply by existing. The hunter's communicator buzzed against its hip, its contractor demanding an update, demanding confirmation of the kill. The hunter ignored it. It took another step back into the crowd, then another. Its color-changing skin shifted to match the shadows better. It became almost invisible. But its eyes never left the humans. The male turned slightly, as if he felt something. His eyes swept the crowd. For just a moment, his gaze passed over the exact spot where the hunter stood hidden. The hunter felt its blood run cold. Those eyes, human eyes, they looked soft and weak like prey eyes, but something ancient in the hunter's DNA recognized what they really were. Predator eyes. The hunter finally turned and disappeared into the crowd. Its contractor's messages kept buzzing. The target was right there. The perfect opportunity was wasting away. But the hunter kept walking. It needed to think. It needed to remember. The stories. The old stories that the young L laughed at. The warnings the elders gave that nobody believed anymore. Before you were hunters, they said, there were the humans and they made us prey. The hunter had thought those were just tales to scare children. Standing in the shadows of a storage area, watching its perfect contract fall apart, the hunter realized something terrifying. The stories were real. And humans were back. The hunter sat in the darkness of the storage area for a long time. Its mind raced through memories it had pushed away years ago. Memories from its training. Lessons from its mentor, Old, who had died when the hunter was still young. Had been ancient. One of the few L who remembered the old times. The times before the L became the most feared hunters in the galaxy. The hunter closed its 3 eyes and let the memories come. It was 40 cycles ago. The hunter had just completed its first training kill. A simple target a criminal nobody would miss, had watched from the shadows. When it was done, the old one approached. Good kill, said. His voice sounded like rocks grinding together. Clean, fast, you will be great hunter. The young hunter felt pride swelling in its chest. I will be the best, teacher. His eyes went dark. No, you will never be the best. None of us will. The young hunter was confused. But we are L. We are the apex predators of the galaxy. We are the apex predators now, corrected. But we were not always. Sit. I will tell you truth that others have forgotten. They sat in the training grounds under the purple sky of there, was silent for a long time. Finally, he spoke. 300 years ago, we found a new species. They called themselves humans. They came from a world of water and green growing things. They traveled in small ships. They wanted to trade, to talk, to learn. We thought they were prey. Soft bodies, weak. No claws, no armor, no venom, just soft pink or brown skin that bruised so easily. His voice got quieter. Some of the young hunters thought it would be sport. They hunted the humans for fun, took trophies, bragged about their kills. The young hunter felt excitement. We dominated them. No, eyes reflected something the young hunter had never seen before. Fear. We woke something up, something that should have stayed sleeping. The humans did not run, did not hide, did not beg, they just changed like a switch being thrown. One day they were peaceful explorers, the next day they were something else entirely. They had no claws, so they built weapons that could kill from orbit. They had no armor, so they built ships that could not be tracked. They had no venom, so they invented poisons that killed in thousands of ways. But worst of all, pointed at his head, they had this, minds that could think of new ways to kill. Every time we adapted, they invented something new. They were creative with death. The young hunter was fascinated. But we won. They are gone now. We did not win, said firmly. We survived, barely. The human war lasted 30 years. In that time they reduced our population by half. Ours was bombarded from space. 3 of our colony worlds were made uninhabitable. Our fleet was broken. But they are extinct, the young hunter said. We must have one. They left, said. One day they sent a message to all our territory, just 3 words in our language. Remember what mercy is. Then they packed up and left, all of them, every ship. They went into deep space and never came back. Why? Because they made their point. They showed us they could kill us all if they wanted. But they chose not to. They chose mercy. And mercy from something that could destroy you is more terrifying than any threat. The young hunter didn't understand then. They sound weak. Mercy is weakness. Grabbed the young hunter's arm hard. No, listen to me. Remember this. Mercy is not weakness. Mercy is what the powerful grant to the weak. The humans showed us mercy. That means they saw us as weak. We, the great hunters, they saw us as prey that was not worth the effort to finish off. If you ever see a human, said slowly, you run, you hide. You pray to the ancestors that it does not see you, because humans are not like us. We hunt for food, for honor, for contracts. Humans, when they hunt to make a point. And their point is always the same. Do not push us or we will show you what real monsters look like. The young hunter laughed nervously. But they are gone, teacher. Maybe, said, or maybe they are just waiting, watching. Humans are patient. That is another thing that makes them dangerous. We strike fast, they wait, they plan, they prepare. And when they finally move, it is already too late. The memory faded. The hunter opened its eyes and was back in the storage area of Prime. Its communicator was buzzing again. Angry messages from its rival, demanding to know why the job was not done. The hunter looked at its forearm where the blade was hidden. The blade that could cut through hull plating. The blade that had killed 43 targets. What good was that blade against something that had nearly wiped out the species? The hunter made a decision. It pulled out its communicator and sent a message to its contractor. Contract terminated, refunding payment. The response came immediately, angry, threatening. The contractor had powerful friends. The contractor would ruin the hunter's reputation, would make sure no one hired the hunter again. The hunter didn't care. Reputation meant nothing if you were dead. It deleted the contract from its files. Then it activated its tracker again, the one linked to its bioscanner. It searched for one signature. Human. 2 signals appeared on the map. They were moving through the station, heading toward the docking bays. The hunter hesitated. Every instinct told it to go the other way, to get off the station, to hide. But something else pushed it forward, curiosity, the need to know. Were these humans like the ones from the stories? Were they the monsters that had broken the L? Or had 300 years made them soft? The hunter followed the signals through the station. It kept its distance, used its color-changing skin to blend into the crowds and shadows, watched. The male human walked with confidence but not arrogance. He seemed aware of his surroundings but not paranoid. The female talked constantly, pointing at different stalls and shops. They seemed normal, harmless. But words echoed in the hunter's mind. The most dangerous thing about humans is that they look harmless until they decide not to be. The hunter watched and followed, and wondered if it was making the biggest mistake of its life. Or if it had already made that mistake by not running away the moment it saw them. The hunter had followed targets for years. It knew how to stay invisible, how to move through crowds without being noticed, how to predict where someone would go before they knew themselves. But following these humans felt different, dangerous, and walked through the market section of Prime like tourists. They stopped at a weapons stall but just shook his head at the prices. They looked at exotic foods from dozens of worlds, bought something that looked like purple fruit and shared it with. They looked so normal, so harmless. The hunter's communicator buzzed again, more angry messages. The contractor was not accepting the refund. The contract must be completed or the hunter's name would be marked as failure. In El culture, failure meant death. Other hunters would come. The hunter ignored the messages and kept watching, and entered a cantina called the Broken Moon. It was a popular spot for travelers. The hunter waited outside for a moment, then slipped in through a side entrance. It found a dark corner booth and activated its camouflage skin. It became nearly invisible in the shadows. The cantina was full of noise, music from some world the hunter didn't know, voices in 20 different languages, the smell of alcohol and cooked food, and found seats at the bar. They ordered drinks, something blue and fizzing. They talked quietly. The hunter's enhanced hearing could pick up pieces of the conversation. "The cargo should be ready tomorrow," said. His voice was calm and deep. "Medical supplies for the colony on 4. "Long trip," replied. 3 weeks at least. "Good pay, though, and will be here to pick us up. Her ship's faster than most." Smiled. "Your sister still scares half the galaxy." "Only the half that's smart enough to know her reputation." The hunter processed this information. So had a sister with a reputation. The hunter filed that away. A warrior entered the cantina. He was massive, easily 3 meters tall. His rock-like skin was covered in war paint. He was drunk. The hunter could smell the alcohol from across the room. They stumbled toward the bar. He bumped into several beings, not bothering to apologize. His eyes landed on "You," he growled in broken station common language. "Pretty little thing, come drink with me." Turned slightly. "No thank you, I'm with my friend." The face twisted with anger. "I am warrior of the 7th Legion. When I give invitation, it is not request." Set down his drink slowly. "She said no, move along." The hunter leaned forward slightly. This was interesting. Laughed. It sounded like rocks falling down a mountain. "You think you give me orders. You are small, weak. I could break you with one hand." Stood up. He was tall for a human, but still much smaller than the. He didn't reach for any weapons. His hands stayed relaxed at his sides. "Last chance," said quietly. "Walk away." The hunter's 3 eyes widened. It had seen this before. This was how prey acted when cornered, when they had no choice but to fight, but didn't look cornered, he looked patient. Roared and swung a massive fist its head. What happened next took less than 3 seconds. Moved, not fast like fast, but efficient, precise. He stepped inside the punch, redirecting the force with one hand. His other hand struck 3 quick points on his arm, pressure points. This arm went limp. Tried to grab with his other hand. Ducked under it, used his own momentum, and somehow the massive warrior was flying through the air. He crashed into a table. The table broke. Tried to stand. Was already there. One quick strike to the nerve cluster at the base of the skull. Eyes rolled back and he collapsed. The entire cantina went silent. Straightened his jacket and sat back down at the bar. He picked up his drink like nothing happened. "You okay?" he asked. "I'm fine," she said. She didn't even look surprised. "Think you could have taken longer. I was starting to get bored." Smiled slightly. "I'll try to make the next one more entertaining." The hunter sat frozen in its booth. Its 3 hearts were beating fast. What it just witnessed. That was not luck. That was not accident. That was training, experience. A human who knew exactly how to kill. Who chose not to. The cantina doors opened and station security rushed in. The leader was a being the hunter recognized. Chief, with blue scales and 4 arms. He was tough and fair and tolerated no violence on his station. Looked at the unconscious. Then he sighed, a sound that bubbled from his throat. Humans, said tiredly in Station Common. Of course. Do you have any idea how much paperwork this creates? Took a sip of his drink. He started it. They always do, said. And you always finish it. Every single time humans come to my station, I end up with broken furniture and unconscious warriors. We didn't ask for trouble, said sweetly. You never do, replied. That's what makes it worse. You just exist and trouble finds you, or you look like easy prey and predators learn too late that you are not. Security team lifted and carried him out, looked at seriously. I know your reputation. I know what you did during the colony wars. I know about your sister. I respect humans. But please try not to destroy my station. We're leaving tomorrow, said. Cargo run. Good, great, wonderful. Try not to kill anyone before then. And his team left. The cantina slowly returned to normal. Music started again. Conversations resumed. But everyone gave and plenty of space. The hunter sat in its dark booth, processing everything it had seen. Its warnings echoed in its mind. These humans were exactly like the stories, peaceful until pushed, efficient when fighting, deadly when needed, but still choosing mercy over murder. Was alive. He would wake up with a headache and some bruises, could have killed him easily, could have broken his neck in that first move, but he didn't. Mercy. The hunter's communicator buzzed one more time, the final message from its contractor. You have broken contract. You are marked for death. Other hunters will find you. You cannot hide. This is what happens to failures. The hunter looked at the message, then at and at the bar. Then it made a decision that surprised itself. It stood up from its booth. Its camouflage skin faded, revealing its gray form. It walked toward the bar. Several beings noticed and moved away quickly. Were universally feared, but didn't move. They just turned and looked at the hunter with calm eyes. Can we help you? Asked. Her voice was friendly, but her body was ready. Hands rested on the bar, relaxed but positioned for quick movement. The hunter stood there. Its blade could extend in a fraction of a second. It could kill them both before security arrived. But it wouldn't, because they would kill it first, somehow, someway. Humans always found a way. This one, the hunter's voice was rough, speaking Station Common with difficulty. This one wishes to speak about old debts. His eyes narrowed slightly. What kind of debts? The kind, the hunter said slowly, that my people owe to yours, from 300 years ago. Understanding flashed in his eyes. Recognition, not surprise. He knew what his species had done to the L, and he was not ashamed of it. Sit down, said, gesturing to the stool next to him. Let's talk. The hunter sat, and for the first time in its life, it sat next to someone it knew could kill it and felt something strange. It felt safe. The hunter sat at the bar between and it felt exposed, vulnerable. This was not a position any L would choose willingly, but something about these humans made the hunter want to trust them. You know our history, said. It was not a question. This one was taught, the hunter replied, by old mentor, stories of the war, of what happened when L hunted humans for sport. Ordered another drink. She seemed completely calm sitting next to a creature that most species feared. And what do the stories say? That humans are patient, creative, that they do not forget, that they show mercy only because they choose to, not because they must. Nodded slowly. The stories are correct. What's your name? The hunter hesitated. Names had power, but it had already committed to this strange path. This one is called. We're freight contractors. We transport cargo that needs to arrive safely. This one is Assassin, said. There was no point in lying. This one was sent to kill target on this station. This one saw you. This one stopped. Raised an eyebrow. Smart choice. This one's contractor is not pleased. This one is now marked for death. Other hunters will come. Studied with those quiet predator eyes. Why did you approach us? You could have run, hidden somewhere in the galaxy. This one does not know, admitted. It was a strange feeling, this honesty. Instinct, perhaps, old programming. When prey cannot run, it seeks protection from stronger predator. We're not predators, said softly. We're just people trying to survive like everyone else. You destroyed half of El civilization in 30 years, said. You are predators. You just choose not to hunt. Fair point, said. He took a drink. What do you want from us? Before could answer, the cantina doors opened again. But this time it was not security. A woman entered, human. She walked with absolute confidence. Her dark hair was cut short. She wore a long coat that reached her knees, and its enhanced vision detected at least 6 weapons hidden under it. But it was her eyes that made blood run cold. Those eyes had seen war, had caused war, had won war. The woman called out, her voice carried across the cantina. Your cargo's ready early. We leave in 2 hours. Smiled, a real smile this time. You're early. Walked to the bar. She glanced at, and recognition flashed in her eyes. Not surprise, just acknowledgement, like seeing an old enemy. You brought a friend, said. More like an acquaintance, replied. This is my sister. Felt its 3 hearts beating faster. The name triggered a memory. Something had mentioned once. A name whispered in fear among El who had survived the war. The ghost of Sector 7, said quietly. His eyes locked onto. For a long moment there was silence. Then she smiled. It was not a kind smile. I haven't heard that name in a long time, said. Didn't think any El from those days were still alive. This one was not born then, said quickly. But this one knows the stories, knows the ship kill marks, knows that you hunted 37 El Hunter ships. 39, corrected. I got 2 more before the war ended. The temperature in the cantina seemed to drop. Other beings were quietly leaving. The bartender found something to do in the back room, even looked uncomfortable. Put a hand on his sister's arm. The war's been over for 3 centuries. For some of us, said, not taking her eyes off. Tell me, Hunter, why are you sitting with my brother? Considered lying, considered running, but instead chose truth. This one saw your brother, recognized what he was, remembered the warnings. This one's contract is broken. This one is marked for death by other El. This one does not know why this one is here, only that running seemed pointless. Studied for a long moment, then she laughed. It was a sharp, bitter sound. You'll never learn, do you? 300 years ago you thought humans were easy prey. We taught you otherwise. Now your own kind is hunting you and you come to us for what? Protection. Mercy. Said quietly, there was warning in his voice. But was not done. We didn't want to be monsters, you made us. Your people hunted us for fun, took trophies, our friends, our families. You made sport of killing humans, so we showed you what happens when you hunt something that can hunt you back. This one knows, said. This one was taught. This one's people were wrong. This one's people paid the price. Did they? His voice was hard. Your still stands. Your species still exists. We could have wiped you out completely. We chose not to. Do you know why? Shook its head. Because we wanted you to remember, to carry the memory forward, to tell your children and their children about what happens when you mistake mercy for weakness, when you mistake peaceful for harmless. Leaned closer too. Every mark on my ship's hull represents a El Hunter who thought they were the apex predator, who thought humans were prey. They all learned the same lesson I'm going to teach the hunters coming for you. Wait, said, what are you planning? Pulled out her data pad and showed them something. Security footage from the docking bay. 6 El Hunters moving into position around a ship. Her ship. They arrived an hour ago, said. They're waiting for our friend here. They tracked him to the station. They'll make their move when we try to board. Felt fear run through its body. 6 hunters, all experienced, all trained. This one hunter alone was no match. This one will leave, said, standing up. This one will not bring danger to you. "Sit down," ordered. Her voice had the tone of someone used to being obeyed. "Sat." "I've been bored for 3 years," said. "Cargo runs are profitable but dull. Do you know how long it's been since I had a real fight?" Said carefully, "This isn't our problem." "Yes, it is," replied. "They're on my docking bay, they're threatening my ship, that makes it my problem." She looked at, "You said your contract is broken. You refuse to kill for them, that takes courage. Stupid courage, but courage nonetheless." "What are you saying?" asked. Stood up. "I'm saying we have cargo to load and a ship to board, and if some hunters happen to be in the way, well, they should have learned their history better." She looked at, "You want protection, you want mercy, fine, but first you're going to help us. You know how hunters think, you know their tactics, so you're going to tell us everything. And then you're going to help us load that cargo, earn your passage." And after asked. Smiled. It was still not a kind smile, but there was something else in it now, something like respect. "After you work for us. Freight protection. We run dangerous routes sometimes. Could use someone who knows the predator side of the galaxy, someone who chose to be better than their training." She held out her hand, a human gesture, an offer. 300 years ago, we showed your people what humans can do when pushed. Today, you get to learn something else about us. We're very good at second chances, at redemption, at giving people the opportunity to be better than they were. Looked at the offered hand, looked at who nodded slightly, looked at who smiled encouragingly. Then reached out with its own hand and took's. "This one accepts." "Good," said. "Because we have 6 hunters to deal with and 2 hours to do it. Let's go to work." As they stood to leave, realized something. The hunter had spent its whole life as a predator, as something feared. Maybe it was time to learn what it felt like to be something else. Maybe it was time to be part of a pack. The walk to the docking bay felt strange too. It was walking toward danger instead of away from it, walking beside humans instead of hunting them. Everything felt reversed, like the galaxy had turned upside down. Ship was called the Morning Star. It was not large, but trained eye recognized quality, heavy armor, advanced engines, and yes, marks carved into the hull, each one represented a kill, 39 small symbols that looked like broken claws. Claws. "Tell us about the hunters," said as they walked. Her voice was calm, like she was discussing cargo routes instead of a coming fight. Accessed its tactical training. 6 hunters, that is a kill pack. 3 will be watching from high positions. 2 will guard the main approach. 1 will be hidden, waiting for the target to feel safe before striking. Standard ambush formation, said. Yes, they will expect this one to be alone, scared, running. And they're not expecting humans, added. No one expects humans, said quietly. That's always been our advantage. They stopped at a junction where they could see the docking bay entrance. Enhanced vision spotted 2 hunters immediately, one on each side of the entrance, blended into the shadows. Good camouflage. To most species, they would be invisible. 2 at the door, confirmed, as predicted. Nodded, you encircle around to the cargo entrance. Make noise, draw their attention. What about you? Asked. Smiled that dangerous smile. I'm going to have a conversation with old friends. She looked at, you stay with me. When this starts, you don't fight your people, you defend yourself only, understand. This one understands, paused, why? Because killing your own kind will break something in you, said softly. I've seen it before. You don't come back from that easily, so let us do what we do best. And moved off silently. Watched them go, impressed by how quietly humans could move when they chose to, like ghosts. Checked her weapons, 2 pistols, a knife, something else didn't recognize. Then she walked straight toward the docking bay entrance, not sneaking, not hiding, just walking like she owned the place. Followed, every instinct screaming danger. The 2 hunters at the entrance shifted slightly. Their camouflage flickered as they prepared to strike, But they hesitated. They had expected 1L, not 1L walking beside a human. "Stop 3 meters from them," she said in perfect L language. "You're blocking my docking bay." Both hunters materialized from the shadows, their blades extended. They were larger than, more heavily muscled, elite hunters. "You are harboring our prey," one of them growled. "Surrender the traitor and leave. This is L business." "No," said simply. "You are one human and one traitor against 6 of the greatest hunters in the galaxy. You cannot win." Laughed. It was a cold sound. 6, only 6. The old kill packs used to send 12 at a time. Are the L getting weak, or did you just not take me seriously? The hunter's eyes widened. Recognition. "You, the ghost." "I prefer these days," she said. "But yes, I'm the one who put 39 marks on my hull. Want to know something funny? I have room for 6 more." At that moment, an explosion echoed from the cargo entrance, and making their noise. The 6 hunters reacted immediately. 3 dropped from the ceiling where they had been hiding. 1 emerged from behind a cargo container, all converging on the cargo entrance where the explosion had been. They ran right past, and it was a trap. And were not at the cargo entrance. They were on top of it. As the hunters ran below them, small devices rained down. Stun grenades, military grade. The explosions were blinding, deafening. The hunters stumbled, their enhanced senses overloaded. Moved. She was fast, faster than had ever seen a human move. She hit the first hunter with a strike to the nerve cluster at the base of the skull. It dropped instantly. The second hunter tried to block, but's movements were too precise, too practiced. She used the hunter's own blade against it, redirecting it into the wall where it stuck. A quick strike to the wrist and the hunter's hand went numb. And dropped from above, landed on a hunter's back, using his weight to drive it to the ground. Used some kind of energy weapon had never seen. It fired pulses that disrupted nerve signals, not lethal, but effective. The fight lasted less than 30 seconds. 6 elite L hunters lay on the ground, alive but unconscious or unable to move. Stood frozen, watching. This was not how fights worked. Hunters did not lose this quickly, did not fall so easily. But these were not normal opponents. These were humans, and humans had spent 300 years learning exactly how to defeat L. Checked each hunter, removing their weapons and binding their hands. "Help me move them out of the docking bay. Station security will pick them up soon enough." Helped, moving on automatic. Its mind was still processing what it had just witnessed. When the hunters were secured and station security had been called, led them onto the Morning Star. The ship's interior was clean and well-maintained. The cargo hold was being loaded with medical supplies. "Welcome to the crew," said to. "Cargo Bay 3 needs organizing. Get to work." Hesitated. "That is all, no ceremony, no oath." "You took my hand earlier," said. "That was the oath. Now you work. Prove yourself with actions, not words." Went a Cargo Bay 3 and began organizing. It was strange work. Not hunting, not stalking, just labor, moving boxes, checking inventory, simple work. But there was something satisfying about it. Hours later, when the cargo was loaded and the ship was preparing to launch, stood at the observation window. The station fell away below them. The stars opened up above. Joined at the window. "You okay?" "This one is," adjusting, said. "This one spent entire life being predator, being feared. Now this one moves cargo." "You're more than that," said. "You made a choice today to be something different. That takes strength. This one's people will never understand. This one is traitor to them." "Maybe," said. "Or maybe you're the first of your kind to learn what we learned 300 years ago, that there are better things to be than apex predators." Walked up to them. "We're clear of the station, heading to 4, 3-week journey. You'll have time to learn how we do things." "This one has question," said. "Ask." When this one's mentor told this one about humans, he said, "You chose mercy. that you could have destroyed all L but chose not to. This one never understood why. Looked out at the stars. We destroyed your people in 30 years, reduced your population by half, bombed your, do you know how that made us feel? Shook its head. It made us feel like monsters, said quietly. We looked at what we had become and were horrified. Yes, you hunted us first. Yes, we had every right to defend ourselves. But somewhere in that war we crossed a line. We became the thing we hated, so we stopped. We sent that message, said, joining them. Remember what mercy is. It was a message to you but also to ourselves. A reminder that mercy is a choice, that we could choose to be better than our worst impulses. She looked at directly. 300 years ago, we showed your people what happens when you push humans too far. Today, you learned something else. We're also very good at giving second chances, at helping people become better than they were. Why? Asked. This one is L, this one's people hurt yours. Because that's what separates us from true predators, said. Predators kill because they must, because it's their nature. Humans choose, and we choose to believe that anyone can change. Anyone can be better. Felt something strange, a warmth in its chest, an emotion it had no word for in its own language. This one will work hard, said. This one will prove worthy of this choice. I know you will, said. He held out his hand again, the human gesture of trust. Took it. As the morning star jumped to faster-than-light travel, stood at the window and watched the stars stretch into lines. For the first time in its life, it was not hunting, not stalking, not killing. It was part of something bigger, a crew, a pack. Thought of its mentor. The old one had been right about humans. They were not monsters. They were something far more terrifying. They were merciful, and mercy was not weakness. Mercy was what the powerful granted to the weak, but it was also what the wise granted to those who wanted to change. The hunter was dead. In its place was crew member of the Morning Star, protector of cargo, friend to humans. And maybe, just maybe, that was better than being the galaxy's most feared predator. The ship flew on through the darkness, carrying medical supplies to those who needed them, carrying 3 humans and 1 former hunter who had learned that there were better things to be than afraid. In the cargo bay, organized supplies and thought about the future, about the fact that for the first time in its life, it had won. A future built not on death, but on life. Not on hunting, but on helping. And as strange as it felt, as alien as it was to everything it had been taught, it felt right. The hunter had drawn its blade and scanned the crowd. Then it had frozen when it saw the humans. And in that moment of freezing, everything had changed. For the better,